And we are live.
Yeah, it is. Haha.
All right, let me find my glasses so I can read comments. And let me volume down here. All right.
Hey, Ashley.
Welcome to the room, Ashley. Ping in some family, some friends. Hey, I'm getting feedback, Don.
Yeah, I just put mine on mute. My computer on mute.
Oh, good.
See that
Okay.
works. Yeah.
Sweet. And let me pull myself on Facebook on this other side here. So we are ready to go.
Hey Ashley, did you get a chance to watch? Did you get a chance to watch the movie I saw that you sent me like a few minutes ago?
Actually almost to the end. I'm watching it now because my fire stick would not let me be great. So
your fire stick would not let you be great.
Darn fire stick.
Right. Yeah. It put up a whole totally different movie, and I was 20 minutes in, so I realized I was watching the wrong thing.
Oh man, I see the shortest person I love on here. Next to my grandkids and my mom.
You know what? You getting started early. You getting started early on.
You know who that is, don't you?
You just couldn't wait.
Why should I wait?
You just could not wait.
Hi, Nicole.
Oh boy. Oh gosh, I need to get in the room.
He said,
I was getting feedback because I was trying to do too much. I was watching on Facebook and because I got pinged on both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pinging everybody everywhere at the moment.
Are you good? Darn,
I go a little 8. Yeah. Long term, look at that long money. In food stamps. Anyway. Yeah. Now out here, I don't have the wardrobe. Now, if I was back home, I'd like wear a different hat each time, or something like that. But I don't have that option out here.
You don't need to explain nothing to nobody. I just like to joke. And I saw a cat hat. I was like, oh, shucks. I was like, this is truck driving on here.
You never know. You never know.
My granddaddy, you'd be like, oh, wow, that's scary.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I'm waiting to get my I Affirm Today hat.
Uh-oh.
I can wear that. Huh? You feel what? I see how it is. I'm making the top of your head flat so your cap won't stay on. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. This is what we're doing. All right, I'm off camera for a second, but I am here.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's actually cold here too. So I'm wearing the sweatshirt for a reason. It's cold here. It's chilly. Yeah. So anyway, did you ladies get a chance to watch the movie?
I did. I have I did get to watch it. It was like you described. It was kind of a slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good story. It's actually a very good story.
It was a slow burner. Yes, it was a slow burner. I liked it. I actually like noir fiction. Noir film. Crime noir is a genre in and of itself. It was actually popularized post World War II. A lot of people started wanting to see they want to see the hero not be so heroic. So you always end up having a hero that has a flaw or several flaws going on, and this movie did not short you on that.
Right.
Yeah. So for all those joining us,
welcome to our show. Welcome to our room. Keep in mind, we are discussing The Little Things, and that's the movie with Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and Rami Malek, which is on HBO Max.
I think
it's actually leaving HBO Max tomorrow,
or is it today?
Something like that.
Is it
today? It's either today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
What up, Nicole? What up, Don?
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick. What's going on?
How are you?
Good.
Yeah,
I'm actually in the middle of a move, so I'm not going to hang out. I came from Florida to Atlanta to clear this apartment out that's been sitting here for a year. I left Atlanta a year ago during the pandemic, and I left my son with this apartment. So he had this nice little luxury apartment for a year. I don't know. He turned it into Cabrini Green. The project.
Oh God! Oh no!
Yeah, if anybody's seen Candyman, you know what's
my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. What is it called? The Frankie Lyman movie. Remember?
Yeah,
Whoever saw that? The Frankie Lyman movie.
Yeah, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Yeah,
exactly. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? So when he was dating the character that Halle Berry played, Halle was going off to a trip to tour, and she left him with the big luxury home.
That's right. With the pool and everything.
Oh my God!
The pool was dirty.
Right. Pool was dirty. Yeah.
In my mind, that's what happened.
Oh Lord.
But kind of, sort of, but not really. But when you leave a place and you don't live in it, and you don't clean and dust. So there's dust here, and it's stuff that I see. And there's a lot. It just reminds me of what happens in life and in nature when we don't manicure, our grass and ourselves, and everything grows. And so I'm cleaning this place out and putting a lot of things in bags. Who knows the best way to back up stuff? I'm taking a lot of clothes. I'm the kind of person I can be like a pack rat sometimes. I remember wearing this. Yeah, let me get that. But then I said, man, you ain't worn that in a year. Throw it away. Or take it down to the Goodwill or Salvation Army or something like that. So now I have this furniture, and it's probably 2 years old, and really it's not even used. Paid a lot of money for it. I almost want to give it away, and I almost want to sell it a little bit. So I'm trying to figure this out, but I've got this task ahead of me. Yeah. And hopefully I can get it done in a couple of days.
Hopefully. Now you're where did you fly to?
In Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, you're in Atlanta. Because I know somebody in Atlanta. I don't know. We could talk offline later on or something. I know somebody in Atlanta might be interested. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, some really, really nice pieces that are here. So,
Gotcha.
Part of me wants to kind of give it away. I just really need to get it out because I'm not trying to take it, back to my home there. So that's what I did. Hop into the car, get a few bags, and with some of the stuff I'm gonna take, and just roll some books and everything else. Got to go bye-bye.
Yes. Indeed. Indeed.
My Achilles heels was my little bag of wires that I had too, and I don't need that stuff anymore. That's it.
You mainly wireless now?
Mainly, but you know how the wires change, the USB and the USB 3 and all of that stuff didn't exist a couple years ago. So I get boxes that I really don't even need anymore.
Yeah. I feel you.
I just want to pop in really quick and I had just a rough week to get a chance to watch The Little Things. It's definitely something I want to watch.
It's definitely worth the watch.
You got to check it out.
Definitely worth the watch.
Yeah. That's John David Washington, right?
No. This is Dad. Denzel. Yeah.
Denzel, right.
Yeah.
And I saw a preview with John David on another movie.
Okay.
But I gotta watch both of those movies though. Not Malcolm and Marie. It's another movie that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what was that? Tenet you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw Tenet. Yeah, I saw that already. Tenet that's a mind
I
freak.
haven't
You're
seen
gonna
that.
have
That's
to
on
watch it
my
at
list.
least twice. Yeah, it's something else. It's something else.
And so what you guys can do too is while you're in here, like ping your friends in, to come in, and I'll just probably peek back in, but I got to get this job done this week.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Indeed.
Good
Understood.
hearing from you. Yeah.
All right,
See you
Rick.
later.
Take care, man.
Okay.
Have fun with
All
that.
right.
Don't forget to mod your mods in case you lose this room, Don.
Yeah, mod me.
Gotcha. Yes. All right.
Bye.
All right. The little things. So 2021 has been a pretty interesting year for Black film. And of course, like Rick was saying, we had already begun checking out, we had already reviewed Malcolm and Marie, which starred who? His son, John David Washington. And also, I want to say Tenet actually came out late last year. I want to say it's like right around Christmas when they finally released it. But yeah, they're not slowing it down at all. And they're giving us plenty of movies with Black stars and stories to discuss. We may end up moving into some shows after a while, quite possibly, maybe.
Definitely.
So,
also, just before you go on, if you guys are not, follow our group on Facebook. It's also called Movies That Watch We.
No.
Movies that move. We're watching them, but we're moved by them. Okay. Movies That Move We on Facebook. So check us out there also.
Well, keep this in mind. If you request to join the group, you've got to answer the admin questions. If you don't answer the admin questions and agree to abide by the rules and stuff, we're not gonna approve that, because we don't want people coming in just to try to advertise their business and stuff like that. That's not what that group is about.
Yeah. We're trying to avoid those movie spammers, people that multiple posts. Watch this movie here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it a good vibe.
Indeed. We are trying to keep it chilling here too. About
the movie. So, was he a bad seed, or what was he just a broken man? That is the question. So,
well,
what do we think? What do we think, people? Who wants to jump in on that one? Let's not all raise our hands. What do you think?
Raise your hands and be brought to the stage. What I think is this. I think that it's essential in film noir. It is essential that your hero, and they have a couple of heroes in this movie, but the main one is Denzel Washington. But your heroes must be flawed in some sort of way. I'm not going to say that he was a bad guy. He was a guy doing great things or trying to do great things, but I believe that he was a haunted individual. We can talk about that a little bit later on, because there's a scene in there where the room was bathed in green light. We'll talk about what the color green means in film and some other stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't think that he was a bad guy. And we're also going to talk about a theory that that was posted. I actually posted it in the group a few days ago, just to give people something to ponder. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah. So if you want to jump in, if you want to be heard, raise your hand so you can come to the stage.
Now would be great.
I don't know. Maybe we got some shy folks. Huh?
I was saying now would be great.
Yeah.
Now what I found
What's up?
What kept running through my mind is there's it's something I had posted a while ago that if you don't heal the things that hurt you, you'll bleed all over other people.
Yeah.
And he showed up, and that's pretty much what he did throughout the whole thing. Because when he walked into the room, he showed up for one purpose. And it's like when everyone saw him, normally if you have somebody who's like left the precinct and they come back, you kind of expect a warm reception. And he came back and everyone was like, what are you doing here? What?
Pretty much.
Why are you back? Are you leaving today? You're leaving today, right?
Well, even his corner friend said that. She, when they went out to dinner,
she sure did.
She said that it's something. She said, it's something in your eyes that says that it's not good. And I think that people wanted to get with him, but however, I think that the downward swirl that he took just let everybody like, hey, I don't want no parts of that. Haven't you all ever seen like a whirlpool, going, and you think yourself, I need to stand on the edge or wherever it is in my sink, I need to have it on the edges because I don't want to go down the drain. Right. And I think that people really felt like if they got tied up, because remember, that's what the sergeant said to young detective, hey, you don't want to get caught up. Right. Because this guy would have to go down a rabbit hole. He didn't say it specifically like that, but that's the paraphrase of it. That you don't want to get wound up with him because he'll take you down with you. So you're right. I think that somehow in whatever he went through, that whole thing, it took so much out of people around him. They were like, you know what? Even his sergeant said he lost his wife. He got suspension.
He had a heart attack. On the same.
Bypass is serious. They pretty much put your heart back together. So it's a lot to that.
Right. It's like he lost everything.
Well, think about this too. When he went to go to his old house where his wife was still living, and if you notice her body language, she did not want to be near him. Just like you said, his coroner friend said, I see what's in your eyes and it's not good. So everybody could see that. And so when he told his wife, well, me, she had this look and she says, yeah, I know you. Now you could tell she still had affection for him. She didn't revile him. But if you notice, Rami Malek's character was going through the same exact thing. And he had the same family dynamic. He's a detective. His wife is there at the house. They got 2 little girls. Same thing with Denzel's character, with Deacon. He had 2 girls. And if you notice, while Rami is supposed to be spending time with his kids, they're in the pool and they're just looking up at daddy. And he's just sitting there staring off into space. And he doesn't even come out of his reverie until his wife walks over to him. Yep. So he was on his way to becoming like Denzel. And we're going to talk about that in a little while too. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Well, John, what I would like you to do is conversation, because normally these conversations last anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. Just so you all know, it gets really hard off in the paint around here.
It does. It does.
That's why we have a Facebook page, because people just want to have a conversation here. They have other things they want to add and share on our Facebook page. But I want you to touch on that because of your background in law enforcement.
You putting it all out there, aren't you?
And not just our fiction writer that brings that into the writing. So I really want you to kind of, give us some essence of that, within this discussion later on as we kind of dig deep. But definitely want to welcome those people that are in the room, because we are talking about the little things. Please raise your hand to be able to share what your insight is. We do recognize that some people may be in the middle of different things, getting their afternoon started. You just want to listen and be a listening ear, and that's fine. But definitely, if something grabs you, jump on in and share, because we're all about hearing different perspectives.
Right, and we do apologize if there are some spoilers. I think it's hard to talk about this without a spoiler or two.
It is hard to talk about it without a spoiler. So,
just so you
It's definitely worth watching. I already watched it twice, and I'd probably get around to watching it again. And I'm going to tell you something that I love about this project, Nikkei and Nicole. I like to watch movies already, and I like watching all sorts of movies. I'm not just stuck on Black movies, but I do love movies where Black people are portrayed positively and a lot of other stuff. And it's just a joy that so many movies are coming out that we can choose and pick from, because we still have other movies and stuff that we have just not been able to get around to, and we've got to put them on our list, like American Skin and some other stuff that's coming out. Yeah, we got a lineup for the next few weeks and stuff. We're just going to pretty much keep going, and sometimes we'll find out that a movie just came out, and we're like, oh man, we got to talk about this one because it's going to be a hot topic. And but I just love the fact that we're not only stuck with Blaxploitation. Now, back in the day, and for those who are old heads like me, and if you can see me on Facebook, you'll see I got a gray beard, and I earned every whisker of that. But back in the day, in the 70s, and I actually remember this, the most popular genre was a Black film, and I'm not going to say genre because Blaxploitation is not necessarily a genre. It was like a label that they put onto Black films at the time. But there were lots of movies that came out that were not Blaxploitation. So one of the folks that's on the in the group asked, would like the Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier movies, that loose trilogy, which is Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again, and A Piece of the Action, would those be considered Blaxploitation? And I told him no. And I actually had a list of the reasons why this wouldn't be, that wouldn't be Blaxploitation. You have to have, like, the man is in there, it's like they got to defeat the man, and it's like the mob is after him and trying to go legit, and it just can't quite do it, and it's a bunch of other little stuff. But now we've definitely gone beyond that, which is good. We're going beyond the In the Hood movies and all that other stuff too. And it's great to see somebody doing heavy lifting like Denzel. Now, Nikkei, you said something right before we got on about Jared Leto and what Denzel said about him. What was that?
Yeah, I read an article like right after the movie came out where he said he wasn't sure if it was Jared Leto just being in character or if, he was a little starstruck, and it wasn't Denzel saying this being cocky, but he was like, he wasn't sure if he was starstruck or if he was just in character, but he said there was just something a little bit odd about the way he would behave when he was around him. And I can't quite remember what Jared Leto's response was to it. And I wish I had saved the article so I could have shared it here. But it was just kind of interesting because Jared Leto throughout the whole thing he was the perfect oddball throughout the whole thing. He was creepy. He really was. Weird. He was, and in the end, I will say that last segment that he was in, I was sitting there the whole time like, oh my God, he's gonna grab the gun. He's gonna grab the gun. Look out, he's gonna grab the gun. And then when what happened, I was like, oh, I sasaw that coming. That should have happened a minute ago, But
okay, well,
yeah. But yeah, just that little note.
Yeah. Well, two things. The first thing is this. Tom Hanks, I actually watched a documentary on Denzel a couple months ago. Actually, no, it was even before we started doing our show. So this is probably back in like November, December, I watched it. And Tom Hanks was on, and he was saying that Denzel Washington is your favorite actor's favorite actor. And you think about that for a minute. So it's kind of like how I remember when Heavy D did a song with Michael Jackson. They did Jam. And on the video for Jam, if y'all remember, it was Michael Jackson and then the other MJ, which is Michael Jordan, and they were playing basketball. And then Heavy did this little quick rap break. Well, the thing is this. Stars would be starstruck around Michael Jackson. Will Smith talked about how he had this little funny story about how Michael Jackson arranged it so that he ended up in this closet or something. He's like, that kind of looks some real crazy stuff. But even famous people, like actors who are about their stuff, they get starstruck around Denzel Washington. But then you think about three of the major, and we'll call them more of the old guard, because we have the new guard coming up with Daniel Kaluuya, with John David Washington doing a lot of heavy lifting, Dominique Fishback, and we got a lot of younger folks coming along now who are like straight killing it and making a name for themselves. But if you put any movie, it's kind of like back in the day, if you put De Niro in your film, it's the same thing as if you put Denzel in your movie, if you put Morgan Freeman, or if you put Samuel Jackson. They're going to steal the show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, back to the movie.
The other thing I was going to say is when you were just
circling around Rami Malek's character, and he was looking at the gun. He kept saying like insults and stuff. You can't protect your family. You're nothing. You're losing like this. What he was doing, because Nicole wanted me to touch on some law enforcement stuff. What he was doing, those were pre-assaultive behaviors. Everything about his body language was saying that he was going to attack him and go for his gun. And you're right, McKay. I'm not saying that he should have swung the shovel on him, but he should have swung the shovel on him. I will say that. Yeah. But I guess what's weird about it is that we never find out for sure. What's up?
Well, what that also made me think of, going back to when he's sitting poolside and just watching his girls, it made me think of, in that moment, he's probably contemplating, did I do the right thing? I needed to do that. Should I have done that? And
you're talking about later on at the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it took me back to the scene when Deacon went back to the house and saw his wife, his ex-wife, and she was like, you should call the girls.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, I'll call the girls. There's a reason why he doesn't communicate. And it's for that same reason, because, all right, I'm hunting down this person, but I don't know if this person is also hunting me down. And just the same way, Jared Leto's character was saying, oh, yeah, I've seen your girls, those beautiful little girls. You can't protect them. That's why he was keeping that distance. That's why Deacon was keeping that distance, because if this person is running around killing women, I don't want him coming after my daughters, my wife.
Yeah.
I'm going to distance myself from everybody that this person thinks I care about. The only person they have to come after is me.
Where do you all feel that this work lies in the spectrum of Denzel's other works when it comes to what it is that he's portrayed in other films?
I considered that. I was like, this is so opposite of Training Day.
Yeah. Well, Training Day was opposite of like everything he'd done up until that point too. Yeah.
I was hurt by Training Day. My feelings were hurt. On one hand, my feelings were hurt by Training Day. But after I sat with it for a while, I was like, you know what? I think he had to do that to prove that he could be a villain in something.
Yes.
That wasn't
charismatic villain too.
That was a necessary role for him to take. And this was that. This was kind of that even border. He wasn't a villain in this, but it was still a challenge. this kind of brokenness was still a certain challenge.
Yeah, well, he was haunted. He was a haunted dude. But to answer your question, Nicole, like where do I think this falls on the spectrum? I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say this is Denzel's greatest film. But he definitely brought, like, the three main actors brought their chops to the role. So it's not junk. It's not, he didn't put out something that later on people are gonna say, man, that was like a waste of time. Why did I watch that? What was it he was doing in that movie? None of that at all. It wasn't Mo Better Blues. It wasn't Training Day or anything, Cry Freedom or even Glory, But it was definitely,
Cry Freedom was awesome.
Yeah, Cry Freedom was, yeah.
Do you think this leveled up the other two actors any?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Look, listen, you cannot walk on set with somebody like Denzel Washington and think you're just gonna be up in there half stepping. You got to bring your A+ game, and because he brings his A game to everything he does. I'm gonna say name a bad Denzel Washington movie. I can name one, but it's not because his acting wasn't good. It's because it was just like too much CGI. Like the director was like trying to push as much CGI, and this is CGI in the early to mid '90s when CGI was sucking. Even then, it wasn't all that great. Virtuosity. Yeah, it was the first movie he was in with Russell Crowe, because of course we know famously he ended up being an American Gangster with Russell Crowe later on.
That was the redemption movie.
Oh man, he redeemed the hell out of himself on that one. That movie was awesome. American Gangster was phenomenal. Virtuosity, not so much. But it's good that he can have roles where he can be the greatest, and then he got some roles where it's like, he did some great acting, but it was an okay movie. You can't always control that, because even with like the likes of Pacino, De Niro, Nicholson, when you start Meryl Streep, when you start talking about people of that ilk, or even let's talk about because we were just reviewing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Viola Davis is no freaking joke. Anything she steps to the stage on, she's gonna bring it. And she.
We have somebody that's on the stage that's ready to speak. Let's reset our room. We also have some new people to Clubhouse. We definitely want to welcome them to our page, because that means that they are not just new to our room, but they're also new to the platform of Clubhouse. So we do have someone that wants to share in reference to the movie. You can go ahead and unmute your mic if you want to speak now.
Annas. Am I saying your name right, Annas?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how are you? What are your thoughts on the movie?
How you doing?
I'm fine, bro. What about you?
I'm good.
Okay, can you let me speak, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
Oh, we lost him.
He made a mistake and.
Oh no.
He probably thought he was unmuting himself, and then he wanted to go on to speak. But before we kind of get off into Viola Davis, and her role kind of impacted some things. We were talking about, I guess, where this movie fits when it comes to the spectrum of what Denzel's work looks like. This movie was so dark and macabre to me.
Really?
Yes.
It was.
Yes, it was.
It reminded me so much of, not in a bad way, but it got me in a headspace of 7 Pounds. And I remember watching 7 Pounds and drawn in, feeling like I was sitting in the room.
Wow.
Every situation, every scenario, it probably doesn't help that growing up I wanted to do that kind of work. And, of course, when we were growing up, pushing girls into science was not the thing. So I missed that by 10 years. But just feeling like, being a part of the crime scene, trying to, think through the scenarios or whatever. That's what this movie really remind me of, because it really puts you there. And there were certain scenes like the scene when he went back I just thought it was interesting how flipped the landlord was when it came to the fact that she could walk into say that how can you stand the smell, but it was perfectly okay for her to give that girl's milk away to her child and take it. It's like, what level of depravity do you have to say, oh, it's perfectly good milk. Yeah, this girl got killed right not too far from the refrigerator. I'm going to give that to my kid. And these beers, me and my old man go suck down.
And that's something.
I just thought that was like crazy. But it just lets you know how detached emotionally to people and the folks around us that we can be. You can see somebody every day and, someone said, oh, yeah, such and such had a heart attack. Oh, such and such died. And you're like, oh, wow, that's terrible. And then you're still eating Frosted Flakes.
Right.
Like, what they said doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was some deep parts about that. But when he was there was another scene that I thought was deep. When he was talking to the girl's body. And he basically told her. So he basically told her, he went through her whole mind as to why she did it. Why she opened the door. That little feeling that she got that let her know that, hey, I really shouldn't do this, but something's wrong, but I only did once. So let me see if I can't be that bad. But you do only live once, and life is short. And now you can't speak. And he was just sitting there talking to her. And he's like, but now I'm your only friend. I was like, huh.
When he said that, I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the truth. When you think about what the job is, that's what it's giving you children to think about what the job is of any detective, any coroner. They are the last people. That's why them doing their job right is so important. They are the last people to speak to how this person left the world, and they can't make any mistakes. Not saying people don't, and they do, but to make a mistake, that's why I think that him feeling this whole question between being broken and being a bad seed, that's why I feel that he was broken more so in a bad seed, because he took that role seriously. If I don't get this right, if I don't put the period on the end of this sentence for this person's life, then I've done something wrong. That's my entire job. That's why I exist. It's because I have to do that. Right. So this whole movie just kept on taking us back to the why. The why. The why is we gotta solve it. It's gotta be right. We have to have answers. We gotta solve it. It's gotta be right. We have to have answers.
Not we. I.
Yes.
True.
And then the other part of it is him seeing himself as an angel. There was a lot of religious symbolism. Every time he passed by that cross, he would look at it. Every time he was traveling back and forth, he would look at the cross, and everywhere he seemed to go, there was a picture of an angel.
And that room he stayed in that 1 night or few hour room, wherever it was just being in that room just made my skin crawl.
I was like,
in the room.
It was.
I was like, all the places that he could stay, why would he choose the seediest hotel with prostitutes hanging around outside? Why wouldn't he find, upgrade half a step, go to Motel 6 or something? Why are you staying there? Why?
He had to stay there because he had to connect to the victim as well as connect to the perpetrator. And because when you think about it, who came to see him when he did stay there?
Yes. Just Rami Malek.
No. The ghosts of those girls came. They wouldn't have come. They wouldn't have come to his house. They came to a place where he could think and focus like that. And the interesting part is, before he even got up there, I don't know if I'm digging too deep. Before he even got up there, the innkeeper said to him, "Do you need company?" He need company. He had himself and the
ghosts. Those ghosts,
Somehow I think those ghosts were always with him. I don't think he needed to be there for those ghosts. I get what you're saying.
What you're saying, though. Yeah.
But I'm like,
oh,
could we have gone to the Hilton? Did you have to go there? But I get it.
But again,
if you're trying to solve,
there's always like a feeling of foreboding. You're trying to keep it close to the streets.
But then at the same time, but here's the other thing. Mm-hmm. These were average girls. These weren't prostitutes. That came out in the other end. These weren't prostitutes that he was looking for. These were average girls that got killed. So he didn't need to be there. He made a conscious choice to be there, to detach that hard.
Well, it also says how he feels about himself, because the character is flawed. And if you feel great about yourself, you're on top of the world, you LA's greatest detective and like this, you're going to stay in the Hilton. You're going to have a really nice room or the Hyatt or something like that. But when you feel like, in his case, the reason why he was haunted is because not only did he not get a chance to find the killer of those girls, he felt responsible. He felt like he wasn't redeemed or anything like that. And because of that, he lost everything. And maybe even was beginning to lose his mind, which is why his coroner friend, even his ex-wife, were like, they had that standoffish thing going with him and stuff like that. But he felt like he was, beneath the underdog. Which is funny because that was in Mo Better Blues. That was the name of the club that he played at when he was Bleak Gillian. But yeah, so, and then let's talk about the color that was projected into the room. What color was that we saw in the room?
That was green. Well, green at one point.
Yeah. Do you all know what green means when you see it in a movie?
I thought about change when I saw green.
Not in that case.
Now, in the video that you posted, it was illness.
It's illness. Yeah, it has to do with illness, like an emotional or mental illness. There was a scene from, if y'all ever seen, as a Oliver Stone movie came out back in the early 90s. It was about Mickey and Mallory Knox. Because it was Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, I think was her name, and they were these two serial killers going around killing everybody. And there's this one scene where everything is bathed in green, and it had to do with sickness. I don't know why green is what it is, but that's what it meant in this movie. So when he said they had the light, he was shining, it was a green light. And of course, he had the one young lady at the foot of his bed and the other two ladies in the closet like that. Yeah. Yeah, he's dealing with some PTSD and some mental. He needed some healing. I'm not gonna say mental illness, but he needed some healing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to welcome up anybody that's in the room. If they want to share and speak to what it is they got the movies versus it that's being us and we being in our own heads. But if you you're enjoying the conversation back and forth, we definitely don't mind you being here to take it all in. But if you know of anyone that may be interested in the movie The Little Things, and they don't mind spoilers, because I don't mind spoilers personally, because once I watch it, I get out of it something different anyway. People are like, oh, I'm going to go tell you the end. Like, you might as well, because I'm going to see it differently than the way you portray it anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But if you know of anyone that has seen it or is interested, definitely ping them into the room so we can have a rich discussion. But and I just noticed how everything was so dated. Did you all notice that? I didn't see it.
It happened in the 90s.
It was the 90s.
This was dated for like 1990 or something like that.
But even for the 90s, some of the things were even dated. It's like even within some of the scenes, it's like some of the stuff just seemed like it was old to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
I guess some of the furnishings, because some of those furnishings were not 90s. When it came to certain places that he was, or where he stayed, or even when he went to go visit that girl's place. Other than the posters up, even the rooming house she stayed in or the hotel, the furniture in there was dated. It's like everything had it could be 70s, it could be 60s, but it just everything seemed old and stale. And frozen to me. That's just what I got for some of the scenes.
Like where Deacon was living, I was like, oh, he real backwoods. He's like,
he's way out in the desert somewhere. Yeah.
I never saw the inside of his house, but he was driving the rustiest of rust buckets when he got started. And I don't know, I guess he rented a vehicle, and for a half second he was looking 1990s snazzy for about half a minute when he was trying to hide out from Jared Leto's character. And then he went back to the rust bucket towards the end. I mean, he literally had a rusted out Bronco. The whole thing was rusted.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Rami Malek's character, what was his name? Jeff?
I think it was Jeff.
His house, early 90s.
Oh no, his house was contemporary. But when you think about the rest of the film, because I mean everything about his house was clean lines,
right?
Yeah, a lot of white light colors. Yeah,
light colors.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Early 90s, you know.
It made his darkness stand out, because when he walked into the room, did he not bring gloom and doom?
He did.
The way he was dressed, he was always dressed like in navy blue, plaid. And can we talk about the boots?
Oh, yeah, the boots.
Can we talk
boots?
About the boots? Can we get into that? Shall we get into
the cowboy boots?
Because can we get into the theory? The theory that Deacon may have been the murderer.
There it is.
I didn't like that. What? You didn't hear that theory? You didn't hear that theory?
No.
Yeah,
that
right?
theory floating around on the interwebs.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Now, I don't like this.
It
didn't make sense to me. After I investigated the theory. And I watched the movie, but I didn't explore the theory. I kept that on the sticky side of my brain as I watched the movie, that this was floating around out there. And from the very beginning, I questioned every move that he made. And it didn't make sense. I mean, when he was looking at the evidence, you know, and in the evidence room when the what do you call her, was like, I don't care if you wear it out of here. You know, once I give it to you, that's your business. But you have to get all kinds of signatures before you take or touch it. You know, and then he did just that. Once he had it, he wore the boots. You know, now that seems rather peculiar. I'll go ahead and say that. Downright peculiar. But would that make him the murderer just because he can fit the boots?
Well, and then let's talk about what happened with the boots at the end of the movie. Do you remember where the boots end up at the end? What's that?
Before we get to that, I think that him being able to fit the boots more so lets you know how he's able to understand the mind of the person who actually did it.
That's what I think. That's
where I ended up. That's ultimately where I ended up.
Well, at the end, when he left that rented room, what was sitting on the bed, among other things?
He left the boots there on purpose.
He left the boots. He didn't need them anymore. And what it was is, I don't think he was wearing the boots because he was a killer. It's definitely an odd thing to do. And if you remember, when Rami Malek walks in on him in his room, he's sitting there in the dark, and he looks on the wall and sees the pictures of the girls, you know, from that infamous case. And he said, man, there's something wrong with you, dude, or whatever like that, because he's inhabiting that darkness. By putting on those boots, he's dipping into that darkness to put himself in the mindset of finding that killer. That's what it is. And consider this. When it comes to whether or not Deacon, which is Denzel Washington's character, whether or not Deacon is the culprit or not, think about this. His wife left him, but you could see that there was still affection. She didn't leave him because he went out there and was dipping on her. She didn't leave him because he was abusive to the kids. She didn't leave him because she thought he was the killer. She left him because he had probably was so deep off into his work that he encompassed that darkness so much. There was a pall sitting over him all the time, and he was not paying attention to them anymore and stuff like that. Because otherwise, she wouldn't have said, "You should call your daughters. You should call them sometime," because they want to hear from you and like this. So he's still a good man. Same thing with the coroner, the medical examiner, ME. She wouldn't have gone out to even eat with them. She would have been completely appalled. And then out of all of the cops who were there, and of course we know the precinct captain or whatever he was, and a major or whatever he had been promoted to, he couldn't stand him outright because that happened on his watch with him being there. But there was one cop who was quite fond of him. There's a couple other folks kind of poked at him and stuff, but there was one cop who was quite fond of him. Nobody would still be that fond of you if they really and truly felt that you were really a serial killer.
Right.
So
not on force. No, they would have been trying to lock you up.
But I wonder if the guy who ended up becoming a sergeant, if his issues with him were the fact that, you know, it may have gone back further from before he messed up.
It may have.
Because we don't know what role we don't know where he was in the force when it all happened. You know, was he still a detective himself? Or was he a captain?
He was, because he's in plain clothes, yeah.
Okay, so when you think about it, that means that we all start out the same. You were the shining light, you were his favorite, the person everyone thought was awesome, phenomenal. Then you take this fall and look where I am. It's kind of like that kind of air. Yeah. Like, you know, more. That's why I got from more so than anything is that, you know, now I can look down on you because you fell off. But, you know, I ended up being able to rise to the occasion, which makes you wonder, had he not ended up getting so far off into this case, where would he have been career-wise?
Well, he knew that, because he was like, when he walked into the room, the sense that I got was when he saw Jeff standing up at the podium and explaining what was going on at the case, he was like, look at this young snapper who's where I should be. And that's why he stood at the back and filtered that question through his friend. You know, like, let me trip this young Thundercat up and see what he really knows, kind of thing. He was kind of sticking it to him. Okay. And nobody in the room, when everyone turned around to see where the question came from and then saw him, it was like, oh snap, who let him in the building? It shook the room. So, you know, everybody kind of recognizes, remember, and they knew what he has the potential to bring, both good and bad, to the space.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie's joining us on Facebook.
And we have a few people that are entering the room. I'd like to welcome them. They're new to not just Clubhouse, but also new to the room. They probably are. So we want to welcome them and just let them know that we are having a discussion on Denzel's new flick, The Little Things.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie and you want to comment, go ahead and raise your hand. We're more than happy to bring you up. Don't be shy.
We won't bite too much.
This time.
This time, yeah. But I think overall it was a really good production. I love the fact that it was just that slow burn going on. I love that. Every thriller does not have to be where everything jumps out at you and stuff like that. But I really liked it. I liked how they were cat and mousing it, him and Jared Leto, Deke and Jared Leto's character, and how they were doing the thing on the highway and stuff. And even though it never comes out that Leto had was the one, that he was the culprit they were looking for. So many things about him said that either he was the one or he was about to become one. Now keep this in mind. This takes place in LA. If you look at a map and look at all the different murders and stuff that takes place, particularly serial killings, Los Angeles County, Southern California, we'll just say California, but especially Southern California, is like always on tilt. Always on tilt. I don't know why that is, and that's one of the reasons why when he left that note for him, and he says no angels, you're in the city of angels, but it's anything but. And you'll find out that most of your noir thrillers take place in LA. If you ever go back and look at the old Orson Welles movies, if you look at you know, the old Mike Hammer type movies and stuff, like a lot of that stuff takes place in Los Angeles or a place like Los Angeles, Dublin, Florida.
But they've had a lot of crimes that kind of fit that bill, so it's easy to attach that to them. You know, you think about, you know, how New York and Chicago are a pin for, you know, mafia activity or you know, organized crime, and you know, New Orleans when it comes to, you know, voodoo. You know, in certain areas or regions that, you know, tend to, you know, kind of, you know, start those kind of stories based off of the culture. But you know, they had a case that was similar to that never got solved. Was it called a Black Dahlia? Was it Black Dahlia?
Yes, Black Dahlia.
Did they do a TV show about that?
They've done movies, TV shows. They've done all sorts of stuff about that, and it's still theorized who did it.
They can never quite figure it out. Same thing with Jack the Ripper. You know, to this day, we still don't know. You know, we believe we know, but you know, so much time has, you know, passed that, you know, we may not ever find out per se, you know, who that was. But yeah, when I think about this, I think about a Black Dahlia. You know, it has that same kind of edge to it.
Yeah. What they did to her though was just something else. Elizabeth Short was her name. But some pretty heinous stuff. The evil that men do, as the Barnes say. But definitely worth the time. Definitely worth the time to watch and stuff. So what was the one question that you had, Nikki, that you wanted to pose?
Well, the question that's on the header was he a bad seed or was he just a broken man? That was the question.
Want to take a swing at that?
So I'll leave that to the audience if someone wants to jump in on that.
Anybody? Guess everybody's shy tonight. Well, that's okay though. That's all right. Yep. But anywho, I guess this is gonna be a short one tonight, guys. But that's cool too. So
Don, explain why you're saying night when it's clearly day.
I keep forgetting. I'm on the other side.
It's bright and sunny over here.
It's bright and sunny there. I'm in a dark place too. No, I'm not depressed, but it's.
Is that a metaphor for something? No, he's actually in another part of the world that it is night where he is. It may be night for some people. I don't want to assume that everyone is on the East Coast or in the United States, because I've been on some calls or I've been in this room with people that have been a little bit all over. So it's never known.
It's going on midnight here. So totally different time of day. So what do we have up for next? What do we have up for next week? What are we going to be discussing next week?
What's the correct title? Because I don't recall the correct title. It's
the United States.
The United States against Billie Holiday
versus Billie Holiday.
So we're going back. We've been doing a lot of historical films. which I'm unbothered, but
we have. Yeah, we sure have. Because one night in Miami, Malcolm X, we sure did. Yeah.
So we've been on the historical track, which I'm perfectly
That's cool.
okay with.
Mm-hmm.
So we can continue.
I don't know. I started watching. Yeah, we could do that. I started watching Harriet the other day. I guess I just kind of wasn't in the mood for another slave narrative, man. I was like, oh, not again. And I know it's got to be an awesome movie. I just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
Just wasn't ready for it. 12 Years a Slave, Birth of a Nation.
Can we talk about what we're doing the week after, just so people are prepared?
Yes. Yes. So it comes out on March 5th. So we like to give everybody at least a week to watch everything. Gives you a little bit of time to do that. We're going to be discussing Coming to America. So I want to say that's March 13th, I believe it is. I believe it's the 13th. It comes out on the 5th. Yeah, comes out on the 5th. So that next Friday will be the 12th. So yeah, the 13th will be that Saturday. So we'll be discussing Coming to America 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
2 weeks from now. So I don't want everybody to get that confused. So next week we're going to be doing the United States versus Billie Holiday.
Right. So mark your calendar. Billie Holiday next week, Coming to America the week after that.
Yep.
Okay. And if you really want to keep it straight, if you really want to keep it straight, follow us over on Facebook.
Join the group.
Join the Facebook group. Movies That Move We. And we post stuff right away. And that way you can keep the schedule. So we'll keep the schedule straight for you. See how that works? We'll do all of that for you. And all you got to do is go, oh, okay, this is that week. All right. So.
Yes, indeed.
All right. You want to go ahead and pray us out? I'm kidding.
No, I don't think I'm going to be praying us out. But I'll leave that to Nicole.
Closing hymn?
Look, if I get to praying, man, meteorites gonna start falling from the sky and hell gonna come to earth. You never know. Yeah, never know. Anyway, so thank you all for coming through, and we will see you all again next week. Please tell a friend, and let's do this. Let's do this thing. Let's talk about Billie Holiday. And Andrew Day. Let's see how good she does, because she's never been an actress before. She's a singer. Let's see how good she can do on the acting spectrum.
I've heard that she did it justice. I heard she did it
cool.
justice.
We can do that. We can talk about that. All righty. Well, you all have a safe afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Until next week.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.